Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here and watching my content. I really do appreciate it. Autumn Nations series, apparently that's what they call these things. Wales versus the All Blacks just concluded. Yeah, put your hands up. Just put your hands up if you are impressed by this All Blacks performance. Yeah, that's what I thought. Nobody's got their hands up. Because, yeah, whilst this, yes, is a huge win for the All Blacks once again. 8 tries to 2, 55 points to 23. This was a pretty average performance by the All Blacks. And a very, very, how should I put this? Scrappy. Let's just say scrappy performance by the Welsh. And it's not really impressive for the All Blacks part. Because the All Blacks attack, just like last week against Japan, incredibly one-dimensional, incredibly elementary. It's almost like you almost feel like you're watching the Springboks. The way they were operating under this game, it's almost like the All Blacks was trying to imitate the Springboks attack patterns, which, by the way, is very stale and I would say one-dimensional for a reason, because the Springboks aims to wear the team down with their 4-pack. And that's exactly what the All Blacks did this game. They used their 4-packs to try to wear down the Welsh. It worked, but it was very, very, blunt and very, very un-All Blacks-like in some cases. The backline of the All Blacks, especially the outside backs, hardly touched the ball. Jordie Barrett barely touched the ball at 12. Not that, let alone the wingers. Caleb Clark only had maybe 1 touch of the ball, and that's the result of the Welsh kicking the ball to him, right? Who's the other guy? Sam Reese. Yeah, was he on the field? It was just very, very tight style by the All Blacks, and not the most impressive performance by the All Blacks despite the scoreline. So yeah, let's so overall, I felt like the All Blacks came in, I think the All Blacks 4-packs definitely had a clear intention and a strategy what they wanted to do this game. So a lot of the hard work was just carried by the forwards. There was a clear instruction by the All Blacks management to target the breakdown. It was a very obvious decision by the All Blacks. They normally don't do this, at least in the recent games, where they usually pick and choose the breakdowns that they want to commit to. But this game, every breakdown, especially in the first half, at least one player was trying to counteract, regardless of the opportunity being there or not. So someone's always at the breakdown, and I felt like this has to be a management decision to do that, because this is something that the All Blacks don't normally do, just to be in there as a pest, even to slow the ball down, and just to keep that pressure on at the breakdown, just consistently early in the game. So that's outside of that, the All Blacks just really used their 4-pack almost like they're the Springboks, just brute hard carrying, just almost like they didn't want to use the back line in some sense, that if you're a back and you want the ball, you have to move into a pop position like a forward to get the ball. Literally, I saw Riku Ioane and Jordie Barrett moving into the pods like a forward to crash the ball. The New Zealand 4-pack carried the brunt of the work this game, both in attack and defense. The biggest performance for this game happens to be in the 4-pack as well. Ardie Savea, the man of the match. He has been away for some father duties at home, so he's missed a few games, and you can clearly tell he's been practicing with his children. He did one of these dummy passes where he literally, it's something that you do with kids. You get the ball and you go, oh, what? And you do this massive, overly animated dummy where you throw your hand up in the air, and if you're a kid, because you're tiny, you just go, oh, where did the ball go? He literally did that move that probably everybody's dad has done it to them, and it worked. They did this most ridiculous dummy, and it worked, and he charged in and scored a try from that. Ardie Savea also, I think he scored 2 tries this game, so he was really, really good both at the breakdown. He's one of the players that is instructed to be targeting the breakdown almost every breakdown that he could get himself into, and also his attack was just, get the ball short and just using that brutality that he has, ramming himself through, and really, outclassing the Welsh defense. That's probably the best way to put him. He outclassed the Welsh defense to put himself through for some of those tries. And for the Welsh, this looked almost like a barbarian team on the field. I was really, really concerned that this was going to be a blowout. It took the Welsh 20 minutes to even get into the game. With the first 20 minutes, the Welsh attack didn't even look like a rugby team. It was so bad. The forwards were so scattered. There was you can't even tell if there was a pod or something. You don't even know what's going on. It was just a bunch of people standing there waiting for somebody to get the ball. There was no structure at all for about 20 minutes of the game before Welsh finally kicked into a gear where their attack line started to resemble something that's basically exactly what the New Zealand was doing. Pods, crash ball, it took them 20 minutes to imitate what New Zealand was doing and to try to get themselves on the board. I do feel like Tompkins is once again the outstanding player for Welsh. He's tackling, he's attacking. He set the Welsh up for a try. One of the passes was just probably the best. In fact, the best. I would say the best outline, the backline move of the entire game was from Tompkins when he slipped the pass to the new guy, the winger, number 11, whatever his name is. I don't know his name. Or he slipped the pass to him, and then that was just pinpoint accurate, lightning fast hands. That was the most beautiful set piece move and the backline move for the entire game. That was from Wales. Despite the New Zealand, knowing to be doing a lot of those backline moves. So that aside, the Welsh look like they had some opportunities where you look like they could put the pressure on and put a try on the New Zealand with the penalty advantages. Again, the way they dealt with the penalty advantage was almost just you look like they were just randomly trying to kick the ball away a little bit. So the accuracy from the kicking was really low in terms of attacking options. And also, I think there was a late injury to the Welsh team, not to mention that Lee Harpenny was supposed to be starting at fullback. He was injured during training. So they put Anscombe at fullback and they put Priestland up from the bench to 10, which I thought was really... I thought this was a bad decision because Priestland did not look like... he did not look like he had the attacking prowess that Anscombe brought to the game late in the second half when Anscombe was kind of when Priestland was stopped. Priestland clearly looked like the organization around him was just lacking quite a bit. And I really felt like Anscombe probably should have stayed at 10 and had Priestland moved 15, or even just had someone else go to 15 instead of having your 10 go to 15. So this was really weird decision for me. And as a result, a lot of these penalty opportunities for Wales was just kind of messed up due to the poor organizations, I felt. So the and also I thought it was also weird where they Tompkins was by far the most highest work rate, most outstanding player on the field. They took him off quite early, I thought. I think it took him just a little bit into the second half. Maybe he got injured. I'm not sure. And also Adam Beard was taken off at halftime for Alan Wynne-Jones, which I thought was a little bit weird as well because I felt Rollins, I think Rollins was his name. Was not performing not really performing that well. So I thought Rollins should have come off instead of Adam Beard, unless he's injured. But that was, halftime, Alan Wynne-Jones came on for Adam Beard. And, this was also Barnsley's 100th test match. Apparently he had a whistle from the first test match between New Zealand and Wales from 1905 or 1903. So he had that, a whistle that's over 100 years old. Apparently still works. And to mark his 100th test cap for Barnsley. So that's big congratulations to him. Let's quickly have a look at the stats. So the All Blacks dominated the game, 8 tries to 2. There was a period in the middle of the game where Wales actually looked they were hanging in there and they looked like they were trying to come back. But I did feel like they really, took the soft option instead of pushing for the try. They just took the 3 points, and then slowly that momentum went away, and New Zealand, just overpowered the Welsh late in the second half. So 239 run meters to 344 full time. At half time, the run meters were 113 to Wales and 162 to the All Blacks. Turnovers conceded 13 against Wales, 12 against New Zealand. So at half time, both teams only conceded 4 apiece. So both teams conceded way more turnovers in the second half than they did in the first half. Also, the tackles, Wales already had to make 118 tackles in the first half. The All Blacks made 92 tackles in the first half. So really high-paced game. Lots of attacking for both teams. And obviously, with both teams just doing like one-off runners for most part of the game, it's not really surprising that there's a lot of just tackles, because there's a lot of just short ball pick and goes and crash balls for the most part of the game. As a result, the Welsh missed 10 tackles at halftime and 14 in the second half, whereas the All Blacks missed 7 tackles in the first half and 4 tackles in the second half. And kicking, not much kicking was done this game. So this is a big difference between the All Blacks operated this game and the Springboks would like to operate. So the Springboks in this, when they play a style where they do a lot of crash balls, they tend to kick a lot to try to break the game up a little bit and also try to keep the pressure on the opposition territory. The All Blacks kind of just ran the ball for the most part. There was some kicking, and in fact, some of the All Blacks kicking was a little bit, inaccurate as well. Like kicking it out on the full. There was a few like unnecessary crossfield kicks that kind of just went nobody. Like it was just like randomly crossfield kicks. Not even a penalty advantage around the halfway point, which was just wasted opportunities for the All Blacks. So some of those kicking game wasn't very good, in my opinion, to begin with. But there wasn't much kicking either for both teams. So 8 kicks for both teams at halftime, 16 overall for Wales and 18 overall for the All Blacks. The goal kicking, Richie Mo'unga missed 2. Beauden Barrett actually did a couple of kicks at the end of the game. He moved to 10, so that was really nice to see. I really liked seeing Beauden. I think, was he at 10? Yeah, I think he moved to 10 late in the game. He moved to 10, and then Geordie Barrett went to fullback. I think that's how they set it up when they had the 2 centers back on, when Anton Leonard-Brown and David Havili on the field. And the lineouts, both teams were pretty decent. Nothing too crazy for both teams. It was neither teams really challenged the defensive lineout that much for some reason. I think both teams were kind of had the more in mind, defend the more in mind. So neither teams really challenged lineouts. There was 2 errors. So there's 1 lost lineout for both teams, and both, I think, due to their own poor throws mostly, not because it was like stolen by the other team. Penalties conceded. 7 penalties against Wales in the first half, which did hurt them a little bit. 6 penalties first half for All Blacks, and 3 penalties against Wales in the second half, and 5 penalties against the All Blacks in the second half. So that's the stats, and let's quickly go through the tries. So there's a lot of tries for the All Blacks. Let's quickly recap the game because the Springboks game is about to start soon. So I'm just gonna quickly get this through. All Blacks kind of came out with a really early start. They get a penalty like right away. Kick 3 minutes in the game, they get a 3 points on the ball early game, and immediately the All Blacks just like starting to put a lot of pressure on the Welsh, and it looked like the Wales is really disorganized right away off the game. So it took 9 minutes into the game for All Blacks to break the Welsh defense. So Papa Lee, he gets the ball, at number 7, someone you wouldn't expect. He gets the ball in the center position. He just runs straight through this gap in the Welsh defense, and it was just looking like a little bit too easy for someone to just break through like that. After he broke through, the All Blacks just built faces. There was nothing special about it. Just short balls, pick and go. Eventually, Cody Taylor, the hooker, picks and go, crashes over for the first try for the All Blacks. 10 points to 0, 10 minutes into the game. Right from the kickoff, Shannon Frizzell, or as the commentator calls him, Frizzle, knocks on the ball. There was a scrum for Wales. Finally, Wales gets an opportunity to kind of like attack inside the All Blacks half. And they dropped the ball after 3 crash balls. And it was very evident that the Welsh attack was just an absolute mess. It was bafflingly bad. Like, the whole team seems to be in this massive clump. You cannot tell what's going on. Like, forwards, backs, everybody's just in a clump. And the ball is just, it seems to be just like randomly thrown to the clump of people. And somebody catches it. And then, and that's basically the attacking line for the Welsh team here. It was pretty bad. On the 18th minute, All Blacks gets another line out. They just following this, like, just build faces. They got right in front. They get a penalty. And then the Adi Savia gets the ball. He taps and goes. He gets tackled just short again. And then, again, Cody Taylor immediately picks up the ball. Pick and go. Goes in for the second try. And, just nothing crazy. 18 minutes in. All Blacks 17 points to 0. And on the 17th, on the 24th minute, finally Wales starting to look like a team that seems to know how to play properly. They just, again, building faces. 17 faces later, Wales was not going forward. They were literally going backwards because the attack was just way too one-dimensional. And then eventually, Wales did get a penalty from after 18 phases, despite going backwards. They kick the ball out for 5-meter line out. They go for a maul. The maul didn't really do anything. Quickly, ball comes out. The ball goes out. 3 quick passes. Tompkins gets the ball, and this is the most beautiful play for the entire game. Tompkins gets the ball. He had a deep runner behind him, lining fast, whoosh, ball behind to his number 11, Dyer, or whatever you say his name is. The new guy slips through a nice little gap, and like angle just goes bam straight through. This was spectacularly executed by the Welsh. Probably if they did more of that, would have been a much closer game. But Tompkins, I was very impressed by his handling here. Straight through. Wales gets himself back on the ball. 7 points to 17. On the 28th minute, again, Wales starting to look a little bit better here. They were able to counter-ruck, get some turnovers, and it looks like Wales is starting to get in the groove, and New Zealand is kind of going into a slump. On the 30th minute, Wales just start rumbling inside the All Blacks half, and Tompkins, once again, around the rocks, he's playing as number 9, not number 9, but he was in the halfback position. He looks up, sees a gap in front of him, picks and go, just bolts through this massive gap. He takes the ball into the All Blacks 22. He gets tackled, and then the tackler was not rolling away, and the Welsh gets a penalty right in front of the goalpost. I thought the Welsh should have just gone for a try here and really backed themselves because it was looking like they had a lot of momentum. But the Welsh decides to take 3 here. Make the scoreboard look a little bit better, but relieved a lot of that pressure that the All Blacks was under. 10 points to 17. On the 34th minute, immediately basically from this nice break that Wales got, All Blacks just gets himself back, regrouping back inside the Welsh 22. Just start building faces again. Wales gets penalised for offside while they're just outside their own try line. Who was it? Yeah, Richie Mo'unga gets the ball. Penalty advantage, roll the dice, cross-field kick. Jordy Barrett runs in against the new guy, Dyer. He showed the lack of experience by Dyer. Jordy Barrett runs in, full flight, jumps up, takes the ball clean from his hand, from Dyer's hand. He's already over the try line, he catches the ball, falls down, try time. Easy as that. Jordy Barrett just gifted try. Suddenly the scoreboard is 10 points to 22. Richie Mo'unga misses the conversion. Just before half time, it looked like the All Blacks was just going to close out the half with the lead that they have. They had to do a line out. They misthrow their own line out, and Wales recovers, they overthrows, so Wales recovers the ball. They crash the ball forward, got it just outside the 22, and then gets penalized. The All Blacks gets penalized for playing the ball off their feet, and Wales decides to take 3 points. just before halftime and closed the gap to 13 points to 22. And at this point, you think that Wales is still in it, 13 points to 22. Given some, if they continue the way they play just as they did, they could potentially put an upset here. But then, second half starts. In fact, second half starts. Second half starts immediately. Wales is like showing a lot more momentum. So they basically, the All Blacks were having a bit of handling issues. So Aaron Smith throws a pass, the ball like rolls on the ground, and then the Welsh player chases in, kicks the ball through. I think it was Tompkins again. He kicks the ball through on the ground, like a bit of soccer skills, and then Falatau chases the ball down. And Beauden Barrett tries to run the ball out. He was under a bit of pressure, and Falatau tackles him and like rolls him out of the sideline. So Wales get a 5-meter attacking line out immediately from the kickoff. They did get a penalty advantage again. Priestland gets the ball. Didn't look like he knew what to do. A random little grabber kick that just got like completely wasted this penalty advantage. But Wales goes back for the 3. Again, I thought they should have just gone for the try here because they are still quite a bit behind, and it was almost like they were scared to. I really don't like this decision here. They kicked this one, but it was not really the ideal decision here, because immediately the All Blacks were relieved under the pressure, 16 points to 22. So from the kickoff, the All Blacks immediately managed to turn the ball over, and Aaron Smith gets the ball. He like drifts out as he runs the ball, and then he just steps that first defender who was drifting out, expecting him to pass. He steps back in, cuts back in the field, runs straight through a gap. Reece Zammit as well tries to come out tackling him, and he steps Reece Zammit, and he goes straight through for a try. Not very often we see Aaron Smith scoring tries, but he did spectacularly well this game. Just made it look super, super easy. And just a few minutes later, on the 50th minute, just before 50th minute actually, Wales kicks off. All Blacks knocks the ball on. Wales gets the ball, starts attacking, immediately gets a penalty. And this time, the Wales had a bit more patience with the penalty advantage, built a couple of phases. Eventually, Tomo Williams gets the ball out. He chips the ball, sees the gap, he chips the ball over, and Priestland runs in to chase the ball against Richie Mo'unga. Richie Mo'unga knocks the ball backwards, and the captain, Tipuric, runs in, scoops up the ball on his fingertips, looking like he was going to drop it. He falls over and slides over the try line. It looked like he dropped the ball, but the video couldn't show separation between the ball and his hand. Just a bit of juggling. And try for Wales, 48th minute. And suddenly Wales is back within kind of reach again. 23 points to 29. A kickoff once again. Wales poorly manages this kickoff. They get the ball, tries to kick the ball like down to the New Zealand side, and the ball went out on the full. So New Zealand immediately gets a line out just outside the Wales 22, and the All Blacks again start building and rumbling inside the Welsh half, and Adi Savia gets the ball. He sees like a player in front of him. He showed what he's been doing at home with his kids. It's huge, over the top dummy, and the Welsh defender was like completely not sure where the ball went. Adi Savia runs through a gap between the ruck, and then he offloads to Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith punches Smith in for his second try. Sutherland's scoreboards open up again, 36 points to 23. And then on the 60th minute, Wales looked like they could have hit back on the New Zealand again. There was like a penalty, and what's his name? Tomo Williams takes a quick tap. He runs through a bunch of offside New Zealand players. He gets tackled like just near the try line. He tries to pop the ball back in where Tipper was in support, and the referee deemed this forward. So yeah, if that had gone through, this would have been really close for Wales there as well. Eventually, there was a bit of a stupid kicking at this point, but the All Blacks, once again, it's starting to show the All Blacks don't really know how to deal with some of this stuff. But eventually, on the 63rd minute, the All Blacks just, again, very basic stuff, building faces inside the Welsh half, short ball, crash ball, pod, crash ball, pod, set up a pod, crash ball. 15 short balls later, the All Blacks gets a penalty advantage. Almost like what the Springboks, they're like playing the Springboks playbook here. And then eventually, Adi Savia sees a space in front of him. He picks up the ball from the ruck, picks and go. He did a huge dive, and he looked like he caught in the air. So he did a dive, but it didn't really land, and he got caught, but he just falls down anyway and goes in for the try. So suddenly the score is 41 points to 23, and it's starting to look like it's going to be out of reach for Wales. On the 68th minute, Beauden Barrett tries to clear the ball. Anscombe charges the ball down. He catches the ball and then starts to bounce down the sideline. And then Richie Mo'unga catches him. Yeah, he looked super tired, Anscombe. He looked like, he didn't have the legs to get there. He was really close. But Richie Mo'unga tackles him and pushes him out on the sideline. Just before the full time, on the 77th minute, again, the All Blacks just like rumbling inside the Welsh 22. Basic attack, pick and go. And this is like I'm not sure if this was intended as a move or if this was just like, I think there might be like an intended move here. So, Jordie Barrett. So, the All Blacks, imagine all these forwards were just like getting up off the ground and they're picking and go and then gets tackled. And all these forwards are getting out of the floor. So, there was a lot of like forward pods going and people were getting off the ground. Jordie Barrett had a crash ball himself, I think at some point. And then he gets up. He sees all the forwards are just like setting up the pod. He pushes. I've never seen that. He literally pushes Takiaho like he was like really aggressively, angrily, and you can hear him saying something through the referee mic. He was yelling, and he was just like pointing Takiaho to go the open side. Like, you can't really hear what he was saying, but he was just really angry. He literally pushed his own team like aggressively and told him to go our way, or like go get into the line or something, like really aggressively. And then so he was pointing on the open side, and then immediately the ball comes out to Beauden. Beauden swings around to the blind side, short flat ball to Jordie Barrett standing on the blind side. He runs straight in, scores a try, and he starts smiling. So I'm not sure if this was a planned thing where he's just like trying to bait the opposition to all defend on the open side, because he was like aggressively marching all the forwards to go to the open side, including pushing his own teammate, and then like really aggressively, like angrily to away. And then suddenly the ball goes to the blind side and he just goes in for a try. I think this might be a set move, regardless, but it was just like the most, like, it was really bizarre. And then he's like smiling. He looks super angry like 5 seconds ago, and suddenly he's like smiling and high-fiving everyone. It was like quite bizarre. But anyway, this was a nice try. Brothers to brothers. Finally, on the game was ending. The Wales wants to show a bit of resilience. The time is red, trying to run the ball out of their own half, and then they get caught penalized on the breakdown. All Blacks says, we're not going to lay you off the hook with the 3 points. They kick the ball out for a line out. They set up for a maul. The maul didn't actually go well. The maul kind of like split apart. The referee gives a penalty advantage for Wales illegally collapsing the maul. Takiaho goes, let's not set another. Let's just end this game here. Just peels off the back of the collapsed maul. Just punch himself through a big leg drive. Bam! Try time. Full time. And Beauden Barrett kicks his penalty. Final score. Not penalty. The conversion. Final score 50 points to 23. Yeah, big win for the All Blacks. There was a period where Wales looked really good. Feel like they should probably take in their chances a little bit. And despite the big win, I didn't think this was a huge, like, super duper good performance by the All Blacks. I feel like both teams try to play the exact same strategy with their forwards trying to crash the ball, and the All Blacks just had a little bit more polish, had a little bit more oomph in their attack, especially with the players like Adi Savia, who, and then just specializes in those tight spaces, just deals with that situation a little bit better. And so the All Blacks take the win. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys a bit later for the Springbok game. Cheers.